Everybody, and welcome back to Tony the Mole Adams YouTube channel. My name is Steve Mascord, and so I don't forget, I'm going to say it now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you are listening, sometimes the audio shows up on rugbyleague.com. If you're listening and not watching, you can watch. You can go to YouTube and search Tony the Mole Adams. Tony, how are you? Big weekend of footy just gone?
Yeah, it is. And a big day today, of course, with the Lachlan Galvin bombshell. Never a quiet day in rugby league, Steve.
Now, you have some new breaking developments on Lachlan Galvin. For those who've been living under a rock, he's the half at West Tigers, and West Tigers have said that he won't be with them beyond next season.
Yeah, that's right. And it's actually beyond the end of next season. But just on that, I doubt very much he'll be there at the beginning of next season because, the word has come out that he doesn't rate Benji Marshall, basically, or him and his manager, Isaac Moses, don't rate Benji Marshall. They probably don't rate your mate Richo either, seeing they didn't even look at his offer. So I think it's untenable, the situation. But that's not my story. Everyone's speculating where he's going to be going next year. And for my 2 cents, I am quietly confident he'll be at Manly. And the reason for that, he's a proud Westfield High School graduate, which is a big school here in Sydney, big sports school. He represented Australian schoolboys from there. And two of his coaches from Westfield, Wayne Lampkin and Steve Hales, also happen to be on the Manly Warringah coaching staff. And then on top of that, we have Anthony Seibold, who is coached by Isaac Moses, and Lachlan Galvin, coached by Isaac Moses. So you do the math, Steve. I think Manly are pretty good favourites, particularly as they're losing Daly Cherry Evans. And by that stage, by the time he gets there, Luke Brooks will be quite a veteran. So they'll need a young halfback for sure.
Yeah, and it's another reason why you should follow this channel. If you go back about 3 videos, you'll see we had a video called "Where Galvin's Going and Where He's Not," and that was Tony telling us why he wanted out at West Tigers. His agent's on bad terms with the club, etc., etc. So you would have known about all this a couple of weeks ago if you had subscribed to this channel, and if you did, thank you. Where does that leave Jamal Fogarty then if he's not going to Manly?
Yeah, well, they might take them both, considering Cherry Evans is definitely gone and Brooks is, he'll be 31, 32 by that stage. I think he's on a 2-year deal, which ends next year. So, there's room for both of them.
We already used that headline, "Where Galvin's Going." I have to come up with another one for this video. Tony, what about this other, before that broke, before West Tigers put out this statement, the issue that everyone was talking about was Jonathan Thurston and Spencer Leniu having words at Suncorp Stadium about, opinions expressed by Jonathan Thurston, maybe opinions not expressed by Jonathan Thurston. I know people have been writing about whether the NRL should intervene. People have been writing about whether it's okay to go up to someone in that circumstance and have a go at him, or whether you should have done it in private, whether he should have rang him, whether Jonathan Thurston should have spoken to the coach about it of Sydney Roosters or not, whether he should have done the interview, whether he should have gone to the sheds as he was planning to. What do you think? What can you tell us?
Well, Steve, it's become a media war, which here in Sydney is becoming more and more common. Jonathan Thurston, of course, works for the Nine network, which also has the Herald and 2GB. Spencer Leniu is at the Roosters, a club closely aligned via Nick Politis with News Limited. So both sides have been taking the opportunity to fire pot shots at each other. I exchanged messages with JT today. He's still pretty rattled by it, I've got to say. Everything was off the record, so I can't reveal what was said. But no one's actually lodged a complaint with the NRL. So the NRL's just sort of sitting back and saying, well, what can we do if no one complains? But it's not a great look for the game, is it, when a player abuses a past great with rather unseemly language, shall we say?
Yeah, Tony, like it's quite interesting because people say, oh, he's being two-faced because he criticised him and then he tried to interview him. Interviewing people is your job. If you're on the sideline at a rugby league game on TV or radio, you don't have to like them and they don't have to like you. It's your job to approach them for an interview. Now, Spencer Leniu may not think it's his job to answer. That's fair enough. But it's not two-faced to offer an honest opinion and then to approach someone for an interview. It is consistent because both of those things are in your job description. It's what you've got to do. Now everyone says you don't have to get on with everybody. If you're unhappy with somebody, you can it's a free world, or what used to be. You can tell them. You can tell them you're not happy with something they said or something they did. So the big question is, where you draw the line, what sort of language is abusive, and what is, unprofessional. And in our day, Tony, and we got it plenty of times, if someone was upset with you, they'd ring you up and they'd tell you as soon as they were upset with you. Now I think in rugby league's full of frenemies. It's full of people who pretend to be nice to each other, but actually, don't like each other. And it's only if I can get someone else to agree with me that Tony Adams was an arsehole to me, then I might be angry. I feel like I've got support, and then I'll give you grief. If I feel like not going to have any support, I find the way people react in the game is I'd still pretend to be nice to you, even though I'd be, privately seething. But I really do wish we go back to the day where if you had a problem with someone, that you just take it up. You'd ring them. Now, someone said, well, why doesn't Jonathan Thurston, why didn't he ring Spencer Leniu after critics saying he should have been suspended for longer last year for racial abuse? I don't think in life you can walk around ringing people and saying, are you upset with me? I don't think that's a good policy in life. I think if you're upset with someone, you should take it up with them if you're going to run into them again. And if it's going to impact other people when you run into them again, clearly this has impacted a lot of other people because it's blown up to be such a big story. And I, I do wish we would get back to the days when you rang someone when you had an issue with them and you sorted it out then and there. Things would be a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure, Steve. I mean, we come from an era where you walked in the dressing rooms and there were 13 players there, and quite often a player or two might not have liked the story I wrote the previous week, and they'd yell abuse at me. I'd go up and have a chat with them. Sometimes I managed to talk them down. Other times you didn't, but you tried to sort it out. But yeah, in this modern day era where things are very sanitized, it's a very different vibe. In fairness to JT, I had a look at that story he wrote last year, and he did say that Spencer Leniu should be suspended for a longer time. But interestingly enough, and no one's brought this up, in the same story, he said that people should check on Spencer's well-being because he was obviously rattled by the whole thing and stressed by the whole thing. So an interesting side like that. JT was also concerned about, both players involved in that rather unsavoury incident in Vegas 2024.
Yeah, we could talk about it forever, Tony, but we'll move on. Since we last did a show, you've written about 3 or 4 columns. You've been very prolific. One of them was just about Dylan Brown and the Knights and how poorly they performed against West Tigers on Sunday.
Yeah, I just it was a bit tongue in cheek, but I just speculated, does Dylan Brown have a get out clause? Because, geez, the Knights were bad, as bad as any team I've seen this year. The Tigers went up there as underdogs. They never looked like getting beaten. They just wanted to win it more. They played really good football, the Tigers, but the number of times the Knights dropped it on the first tackle, and you could see Adam O'Brien's expression up in the coach's box. He wanted to headbutt the glass. So they were pretty bad. But then you look at Dylan Brown and Parramatta, and they were awful too. They got 50 put on them in Darwin by the Raiders. So poor Dylan Brown, I think he's ended the weekend with quite a headache.
Yeah, we were all over the place at the weekend except Sydney. I saw the Dragons playing in the Steelers jerseys. It warmed my heart. So I see Christian Tuipulotu has made your team of the week, Tony. But anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, the Hammer scored 3 tries against the Panthers. I just speculated, postulated. Is he the fastest fullback we've ever had in rugby league? I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him run at full pace, and he scored those at hat trick. He was just loping. I mean, we had Brett Mullins was a speedster. I reckon he had him covered. Matt Sears comes to mind, but I can't think of any fullback who just beats players as effortlessly as the Hammer does. He's an absolute freak. Those 3 tries the other night were just sensational, and he did it against the 4-time premiers.
The one he scored in broken play from about 60 metres out, as soon as he broke the line the first time, he started smiling. He smiled as soon, he knew he was going to get there from halfway, and he just smiled all the way to the try line. So it was a great try. Tony, any news on Matt Adamson and the London Broncos takeover? Because the launch was supposed to be this week. It's been postponed. And a lot of people, well, I'll put it this way, at the match on Saturday, I went to the match, they were beaten with 16 seconds to go, the Broncos, by Batley. But a lot of fans are worried that it's hit a bit of a hurdle, the takeover, and that it may not be. Matt Adamson wasn't there, I believe. Any news on that? Because it's your baby, that story. You had a big yarn about it a few weeks ago.
That's true. Well, I can promise you, Steve, between now and our next episode, I will have a chat with Matty Adamson, who's a good mate, and I'll find out exactly what's doing. So stay tuned for the scoop on that one.
Okay, don't forget this is where you go if you want some exotic rugby league merchandise and you want us to bring it to you at Magic Round. And this is the email address if you want to request something. Tony will speak to you midweek scoops, if not before.
Sounds good, Steve.